Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel today for another video. If you are returning, good morning. Today we're going to be talking about how to become unrecognizable by summer because the weather is warming up, which gets me so excited because now I'm thinking about how I'm going to evolve in my life and get to the next era of me. So if you're on the same wave, I'm going to break down a couple factors I think are really important in order to be unrecognizable by summer. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail. We're going to talk skincare, eating, body, mindset, environment, faith, all of that good stuff. So let's get into the video. First things first, I want to talk about skin. I think when people think summertime, they're thinking of nice, juicy, glowy, je ne sais quoi skin. You know, skin that looks like you just came out of Egypt because you're an Egyptian goddess type of vibe, whatever, I don't even know. But here's the thing about skincare, and I posted an Instagram story. If you guys don't follow me on there, then I post a lot of like skincare content and just like day-to-day activities. Lives link is in my YouTube bio. I posted a before and after of how my skin was about 2 to 3 years ago versus now. And a lot of you guys couldn't believe that the state that my skin was at before. And then even some of my friends were telling me when they saw that story, like when they looked at it side by side, that they don't remember me ever having bad skin. But I really went through it, hormonally at least, and I think mentally and emotionally at the time too. Close this window because it is just crazy outside. I was basically breaking down the aspects of skincare that I think people don't pay enough attention to when they're trying to clear their skin or just balance their hormone levels and bring down their cortisol and everything like that. So you have to really spend some time getting to know your skin through multiple different factors. And the number one factor I would say in my personal journey to take my skin from where it was to now was my eating habits. And this is something that is so hard to hear because eating habits are probably the hardest aspect to really master, even if you're in the gym. Basically finding out what your body, including your skin, reacts to best. For me, I do a high protein, high fat diet, or at least I try to, but it's not really a diet. I think that, and I mentioned this on my Instagram story as well, I think mentally it's not good for the mind to restrict. I've had issues with that in the past, and I just made a decision for myself that I was never going to revisit that place of like restricted eating and just not really listening to my body in a way that was mindful and intuitive. So I really try to listen to my body. For me, cutting out sugars and carbs a little bit really helped, or actually a lot. In January was the time that I started really cutting out sugar, like in a way that I hadn't before, but for my body, not necessarily for anything in terms of like physical and stuff. Like obviously I wanted to see results in my skin and my body and like the progress in the gym, but mostly it was because I wanted to see how much sharper my mind would be and if I would see little progresses here and there. So that was the reason that I started cutting sugars a lot. I used to heavily eat out a lot more than I do now. I barely eat out. I don't even like outside food. I don't like fast food. I don't drink sodas. I don't like chips. And I'm not saying that you have to follow this guideline, but genuinely I found that these things my body just does not respond well to. Whenever I eat carbs, I find that I actually bloat so much more and I feel uncomfortable in my body. And that is not the goal. So I try to opt for a lot of high protein, high fats, and that really helps to keep my body and my health in check. When it comes to skin, it's all about what you put inside your body. Everybody always talks about the physical, but nobody talks about putting like what you put inside your body being reflected outside on your skin, because it will. And that goes for your mental state too. Number 2, exercise and movement. That's the second factor of skincare that I think is really important. Exercise and movement gets all the blood flowing in your body. It clears out toxins, and overall it's just very good for your skin. For your skin health especially. I noticed that even when I did have bad skin, at least when I was working out at the same time, it would at least give me some sort of glow, even though my skin was very dull because I wasn't taking care of it the way that I should have been. Also, as a side note, I was using Vices very irresponsibly during that time that my skin was literally at its worst, and that just made my skin 10 times more worse. High intensity workouts, I find my skin reacts to best. I find that when I go to the sauna, which isn't really often, but when I do go to the sauna or when I'm in a hot country, for example, my skin reacts so well and it's like immediately cleared. And that's only because of the hydration, because my skin is so dry. Number 3, understand your skin type. This is a journey that you will not regret. You have to experiment with different products and figure out what works best for your skin, moisturizers, serums, toners, AHA, BHA, all that stuff. If you need a thicker moisturizer, if you react better with a thinner one, sunscreen. I do a lot of slugging for my skin type, which is essentially when you put a bunch of oil on your face and you basically just leave it there for like hours. And it's one of the things that's most effective for my skin at the moment. So I've been doing that, and it's been, come on, hello. This is me after years of research and years of just figuring out my skin, finally at a place where I'm like, yes, I know my skin now. And that is why I'm here sitting giving you guys advice about skin, because I think it's so important to understand it. I used to have a lot of hyperpigmentation around my mouth, and I would say like whenever I would scar really easily. I still scar a little. You can say like there's little hyperpigmentations, but it's definitely not as bad as before, and it's because I understand my skin type. Number 4, let's talk about cortisol levels. This is probably, I should have put this probably at number 2, but it's fine. They're all equally as important. Let's talk about cortisol levels though. You have to bring your cortisol level down. In other words, your stress levels. If you've been in high states of stress for a very long time, whether that's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is in your life, it's gonna be harder to see those results on your skin, because if you're stressed, you will break out inevitably. Unless you have some magic potion in your genes, then in other words, I don't really know. I mentioned this about genes on my story as well though, where I said that even if like those pictures side by side, yes, you can see that my skin was pretty bad before and like after I was able to like get it under control and stuff. And I often hear people say like, oh, you were born that way, or you naturally have this skin genetics, hair genetics, body genetics to like other people and like me and like on social media and whatever. But that was just to show that no matter how good your skin genetics, body genetics, hair genetics are, if you don't take care of yourself and figure out what works best for you, or just invest time and energy into those things, they will deteriorate over time. Those genetics will not play as big of a factor as you think in the long run as you age, because it gets harder to maintain those things, right? Like in terms of skin, hair, nails, like it becomes harder as you grow older. So you might as well just learn how to do it now. And also don't use genetics as an excuse not to take care of yourself in any aspect of life. Please don't do that. In Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about the fact that there's certain genes that we're more susceptible to naturally because, I don't know, because of our parents and then their parents and stuff like that. But it's up to our lifestyle and the way we choose to think and the way we choose to live that is the determining factor of whether or not we will develop those genetic those genetic things. Like, you know, let's say, for example, your family has a history of PTSD or something, but you're somebody who really takes care of yourself, you go to therapy, you really try and get to know yourself on a personal level, good environment, surround yourself with good people, take care of yourself in terms of like physicality, go to the gym. It's most likely that you will not inherit the same trauma or whatever it is that your parents or their grandparents had to go through, because you're putting yourself in a different environment and a different mind state. So take that how you will, but that really changed a lot for me, because I was like, wait, my genes don't determine anything really, and I don't let that be a factor to what I can and cannot achieve in this world, okay? Stress could be the very reason that your skin isn't exactly where you'd like it to be. Number 5, let's talk about sleep. As much as I don't want to be the person to say, yeah, for good skin, drink water, eat good, and go to sleep, but those are probably the 3 fundamentals of having really good skin. You need to have a consistent sleep schedule. Listen, I have not been sleeping the past couple of days, and you can see it in my eyes. It's just life. Life is lifing. So I haven't been able to sleep as much as I usually do, but you have to find a way to get consistent sleep. Even if I go 3 days, I would say don't go more than 3 days without having good sleep. But even if I do go more than 3 days, I immediately try and turn that around and sleep early. I'll sleep at like 9, or I'll sleep at 10 o'clock at night. And that really helps to set me up for a really good sleep schedule moving forward. And then I get my body used to that sleep cycle again, because my body naturally thrives off of sleeping earlier and waking up earlier rather than sleeping super late and waking up super late. My body hates that for whatever reason. When you're asleep at night, your body has time to repair itself, and that goes especially for your skin. I noticed that if I had like a really severe, obviously this is the reason that if you had a very severe pimple the night before and you had a really good sleep the next day, it'll probably heavily reduce in size. It's the same reason, right? When you're going to sleep, your body's repairing itself. So it's so important to sleep, get good sleep. It's just a common thing. Drink your water, by the way. That goes for like, you know, eating good. Also drink your water and stay hydrated. I'm actually about to start taking creatine too. I'll let you guys know how I feel about the creatine though. We'll keep you guys posted on my story, how I react to the creatine, how my body likes it. But I heard that there's a lot of mental benefits, so that is why I am going to try it out for myself. So lastly, for the skin category, let's talk about cycle syncing. I already talked about this in my last video, or the video before my last video, so I'm not going to touch too much in detail, but this is me just sharing what has truly worked for my skin. I think this was the last factor that I had to really master in order to really get my skin under control, and it was understanding what foods I should be eating in certain phases of my cycle and resting more when I went in certain phases of my cycle when my body really needed that sleep and that recovery. So sync with your cycle to make sure you're eating the right foods and moving according to which phase you're in. This means not lifting too heavy when you're menstruating, or even worse, not moving at all when you really need to get your body moving and get the juices and everything and the chemicals and everything in your body flowing, okay? I swear my skin has changed in terms of texture since I started doing this. So food and cycle syncing has completely changed the texture of my skin. You know when skin has like a texture to it? And when people talk about glass skin, they're almost talking about somebody who's like animated, like they don't look real. And I feel that this is actually one of the main things I started doing was making sure that I was cleaning up my diet and focusing on nutrients during certain phases of my period. Obviously, when it came down to actually being on my period, it's not like I didn't let myself have sugar, because I absolutely did. But, you know, if I was craving chocolate or something like that, but I definitely wouldn't overdo it because I would be listening to my body during that time as well. Okay, let's talk about body, which is probably my favorite aspect. I think when it comes to summertime, we're always thinking about hitting the gym. The gym is the most packed during summertime for a reason. Everybody's trying to get that summer body, girl, but we are going to do it even in winter. If you start now, you have a way better chance at hitting your fitness goals by the time summer hits. I'm not saying it's going to happen that quickly if you're if you're a beginner or starting at a certain phase in your life or whatever it is, but it's still good to try. It's still so worth it to get into your fitness journey. So we're going to talk specifically about a little bit of hygiene and body care, and that includes fitness. Number one, I know it's going to sound a little off topic, but this is just me. Again, this is just me. We'll think of this as like my diary or my cheat code to thriving in summer. The first ever brand deal I got was a laser hair removal company. The OGs know what I'm talking about. And since I started using it on my hair on my body, the hair on my body has started thinning out drastically. For summer, I especially try and stay on top of my sessions because I think it's way too expensive to go get laser professionally. I definitely want to try it, but I hear a lot of people saying it's not worth it and stuff. But for me, it's just one of the things that I love. That's one of the things that I try to stay on top of in terms of body care and stuff like that. I also use Vaseline, and Carry Cream is the best cream if you have super dry skin and you kind of want like that glow. You guys always ask me what I'm wearing on my body in terms of like shininess. I don't have much of it today, but you guys always ask me, so I wanted to add that in there as well. The thing is, I feel more hygienic. Personally, I'm not saying that hair is dirty. You know, if you want to grow out your hair, that's totally fine. But for me personally, I just love staying on top of my sessions during summertime. In winter, I kind of let myself a little loose because obviously you're not showing your legs. And I don't know, you just don't really think about shaving in the wintertime. I feel like everybody just throws out their shaving razors in the wintertime, if I'm being completely honest. But for summertime specifically, I love hair removal, and I love making sure that my body is moisturized just as much as my face, okay? You guys always put on skincare on your face, but where is your skincare on your body? Don't use your skincare on your body because that's kind of a waste of money. Like the skincare you use on your face, on your body, but just use good body care. It doesn't have to be expensive. I literally buy like a $10 bottle of the Carry Cream or whatever, and I put that on my whole body. It lasts me like months. So that's all I wear on my body really for the shine. Number 3, let's talk about supplements. Currently, I take vitamin D and magnesium. Both have amazing benefits. If you don't know about it, just search it up because I don't want to sound like I know what I'm talking about, because I really don't. Really, I go based off how I feel about it, and then also there's so many proven benefits and stuff like that. I'm about to start taking creatine, as I mentioned, so that would be another added supplement, I guess you could say. On top of that, I want to try black seed oil capsules and chlorophyll drops. So if you guys take those, please let me know in the comments below if that works for you. But that's what I'm about to start taking for the benefit of my skin and my body. Number 4, I swish coconut oil in my mouth for about 10 to 15 minutes every morning while I make my bed and like walk around. I know it's so weird, but coconut oil has changed the game for my oral hygiene. It just makes your teeth so much whiter, and it makes it smell good for like a long period of time. Like it actually gives you such, it's amazing. I saw a girl online doing it and I thought, okay, this is kind of weird, because I was like, okay, there's no way this really works. But when I tried it out for myself, and I've been doing it consistently for about a month now, it has completely changed the game for me in terms of my oral hygiene. So make sure that you try that out if you feel like you want to up your I don't know why I keep saying oral hygiene for summertime. In terms of like a mani and a pedi, which is a part of your body, so that's why I want to mention it. Always go for professional pedicures over home ones, because I feel like it's important to make sure they're super clean, and that's just a personal thing. I don't feel like I can bend over and just like do all the work I have before, and every single time it's taking me hours, and I just don't have that time of day. So I literally just go to a professional. It's honestly not that much, especially when I don't get my hands done at the same time. I understand like getting your hands and your toes done can be quite expensive, so sometimes I'll just do one or the other if I feel like I really just want to pick, and usually it's my toes, because listen, they gotta be fresh and clean, especially for summertime, because you're gonna be walking around with slippers and stuff, right? Workouts that make you feel good in your body and that actually make you want to work out. This is such a crucial thing for enjoying your summertime fitness journey, because if you're doing something that you're not going to enjoy, it's likely that you're not going to be able to pick it up again when it comes down to like winter time and fall time. I think opting for a workout or some sort of form of exercise that actually makes you want to get up every day and do it is so much more effective than doing something just to do it and not actually enjoying it. So for me, that's Pilates. I'm so excited to start Pilates in the summertime. I mean, I'm still in Pilates, so continue Pilates in summertime. But I actually started a couple months ago during winter time. So I was like, imagine if it was summer right now, it'd be amazing. So do something that actually makes you want to work out. When summer comes, nature walks, because it's summer, no excuses. So get your steps in. And obviously eating good bleeds into everything. So I don't even have to mention that in detail. I already talked about it. I talk about it time and time again, okay? But eating good bleeds into all of the aspects: hair, skin, nails, body, fitness journey, whatever. So make sure that you're prioritizing that as well. Let's move into mindset. This is probably another one of my favorite aspects of summer. I think it's such a good and crucial time to really go inward. Not as much as winter time, I think, because obviously you're in solitude a lot more during winter because you're not like out and about, you know, because for me it's like during winter and fall you're kind of just inward healing and going through journeys with yourself and basically just creating the best version of yourself, so that when summer comes you're able to give as much as you possibly can, because you have your cup is so full, you know, it's like overflowing. For me, number one with mindset, I think it's so important to obviously invest in knowledge, watch videos like these ones to educate yourself on something, listen to podcasts, read books. That's something that I love to do during summertime. Having summertime fiction reads hits differently, especially when it's like a rainy summer night and you're like reading your fiction book and you're just like imagining things from the book. It's amazing. I love it. Journal and practice gratitudes, have goals for summer. Okay, summertime does not mean that we're gonna get complacent or whatever. It's really time to get up and go. I also want to mention, like, this is another thing, stay private about what you're doing. You know, maybe don't be so like vocal about what it is that you're about to do or the next move that you're taking. Not everybody deserves to hear about it. I always talk about the importance of privacy. Very, very important aspect, even if it is summertime and everybody's out and about doing crazy stuff. And finally, follow people who are inspired by, that you are inspired by, and not people that drain you, especially during summertime. I know that we're less likely to like bed rot and be on our phones during summer because we actually want to be outside and stuff. But honestly, in general, like, this is not even for summertime, but just in general, don't follow people that you are not inspired by or that drain you in some sort of way or make you comparing yourself. Actually follow people that make you think, oh my goodness, I love who I am, and it's only up from here. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Let's talk about environment. This is such a crucial thing during summertime. Keep a clean space when summer hits. It's gonna keep you disciplined to stay in routine. And this is advice to myself. I need to declutter the heck out of my closet. It's crazy in there. It's so much like stuff on the shelves and stuff like that. I've just been putting it off because I feel like during summertime is the time when I really want to see that my closet is like, you know, I know that's bad because it should be clean all the time, but it's also like, I'm human, you know, like I gotta let it, you know, do a deep clean before summer hits to get some much needed organization in your house or in your room. It makes the space more clear, especially because it's so hot. Like, if you're in a hotter country, naturally the space in the room like fills up with so much heat and it's so stuffy. So if you have clutter and it's disorganized, it's going to make all that worse. Don't do that. Trust me, it makes a big difference. It makes you less likely to bed rot and actually get to work, which is what we're gonna do all summer this summer, baby. If you're able to, I love revamping my room mostly in the summertime because it becomes like the era where I mark like a new me, is the way I see it as, and that has a lot to do with my environment sometimes too. So I try my best to revamp my room as much as possible. Listen, this needs a revamp. Don't look. It needs a revamp, but I've just been working away, girl. So the room has not been tended to. Anyways, let's talk about faith in summertime. This is the last category that I want to talk about. This may not relate to you if you don't like live by any faith or whatever, and if you're not spiritual, if you don't believe in God, which is totally okay. You know, I still think that it's an important factor if you're somebody who wants to kind of have more motivation or discipline for the summer. For me, summertime is a very crucial time to reconnect with my spiritual life. I try my best to be extra consistent with my meditations, yoga, mindfulness, even though I always try, but I try even harder in summer for whatever reason. And I think it's because I have like nature outside and animals that come out that I can really like reconnect with, and it helps keep me grounded and gives me a sense of purpose, and as does my channel, because it's also my passion. And I think passions and hobbies will also make you hotter. Passions and hobbies will make you hotter. You need to have passions and hobbies. I always talk about this. I promise if you take something up, even if it's small, even it could be the smallest thing, just try something different for summer. You can do this before summer or during summer, just do it. It's gonna be very worth it, I promise you. I think I pretty much covered everything for today. By the way, there's a new podcast episode out. If you have not watched it, go and do that. We talk about how to know if you're ready for a relationship. I forgot what the topic was for a second, but it's how to know if you're ready for a relationship. Broke it down into a bunch of points. It was actually one of the episodes that I really enjoyed filming. So check that out if you haven't already. But anyways, I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next one.